Welcome to the channel and welcome to the show. This channel hit 5,000 subscribers a while ago. Actually, I'm closing in on 6,000 as we speak. Thank you for subscribing and clicking on the video. And I've decided to do a little Q&A, meaning that I asked on Instagram people, if you want to ask me your questions, I'll answer them. When I started this channel, I was really focused on talking about mythology and folklore and just really the symbolism and the beauty and how we can incorporate that in our everyday lives. And I made a point not really to talk about myself, because the way I see it, there are already too many people online talking about themselves and me and what they want and all that stuff. But since I've been doing this stuff for 2 years, you might want to wonder, who is this guy? So that's what this is all about. So all the questions that you've asked me on the Dutch Pagans Instagram, I've written them down and I will answer them. If you have a question that you haven't asked, or you're like, hey, I missed that on your Insta, write it down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. I know I'm not usually the best when it comes to responding to comments in the comment section, but I'll make an effort this time. So I have my iced coffee. I have a cigar. Let's answer some questions. First question I got was somebody who said, "In what age did you first connect with the gods?" Actually, not that young. When I was a child, I kind of felt like there was something missing, because all I saw was rationalism and materialism. And those things aren't wrong per se, but if you have just materialism and just rationalism, it becomes very empty. And I really felt that there was something missing. When I was a child, I used to look up at the stars when you could see them, because I was brought up in Den Haag, which is a large city, so you couldn't see the stars there because of all the light pollution. But when I could see the stars, I really felt that there was an order in the universe, and that we didn't mimic that order, that we were kind of lost. Now, that meant that I went searching in my life for lots of different things, really into Native American stuff and Native American sweat lodges, really dabbled a lot of bit in New Age, got really knowledgeable when it came to numerology. And for me, polytheism and a form of paganism first appeared when I was like 25. I went to Indonesia, to Bali, and I talked to the locals, and I was like, my mind was blown. I was always taught, because I was raised Christian, that there's like good and evil, and you must fight with the evil. And there the Hindus, they told me, no. Over here we don't fight with the evil. What we do is we realize that good and evil have always been here. And after we are gone, these forces will still roam the earth. What we need to do is you need to find a balance in your life between good and evil that works for you. I thought that really made a lot of sense. So I really got into Hinduism because of that, started reading books, started connecting. I actually moved to Indonesia for a year. Did a lot of ceremonies there. I was connected to the deity known as Vishnu. You have the Holy Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. And like Brahma creates, Shiva destroys, and Vishnu is the one that keeps life going and keeps life going in balance. And I specifically had a love for his wife. His wife is Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom. Yes, I don't know if this was a cry for Odin, but at that time I just thought that like the old gods didn't exist. I thought that what many people believe in Holland, that these are just fairy tales and they're not really real. So I really got into that. But I tried to move to Indonesia, but it failed miserably, and then I had to like put my feet back on Dutch soil and really plant my feet on Dutch soil, because I just figured running away doesn't seem to be working for me. So this is where I'm born, I'm a broodje kaas. So this is what I do. I just met a lovely girl, started a lovely family, and just forgot all about that stuff. But when I really started to get the message that everything that I was looking for in different cultures, everything that I was looking for in, let's say, the Lakota sweat lodges, everything I was looking for in Indonesia. I actually spent half a year with the First Nations in Canada and British Columbia. what I was searching for in those travels, maybe it's in myself. And I always had the runes. Ever since I was 20, I had the runes. I'm 44 now. I'm turning 45. Yes, I'm getting old, I know. Um, but I always had the runes. But it wasn't around the time that my first son was being born, let's say 7, 8 years ago, that it dawned on me like maybe what I was looking for is inside of myself, and that the runes aren't just the oracle to understand what's coming at you, that it's maybe possible that they are building blocks of the universe and things that connect certain layers of consciousness, that you can also cast them. And maybe those popular movies, those Marvel movies, even though they're not mythologically correct at all, are just kind of a gateway. They are the old ways speaking through to cast a broad net and to get people interested, to suck people in, to get people interested in the old ways. They're a little bridge. So I think about 8 years ago when I really started to research the runes and started reading Norse mythology again and really started to connect with the gods. Um, yeah, I hope that answers your question, and I didn't take too long answering that question. Um, Other question. Do the Jews run everything? Somebody actually asked me this question. Are you trying to get me cancelled? Um, I'll be honest with you and say I don't know. It sounds like a very, like I'm not trying to answer the question, but if you asked me this 5 years ago, I would say no, because the people who always talk about like, oh, the Jews run everything, that's usually the guy who doesn't have a girlfriend, that doesn't have a job, doesn't have anything. But it's all because of the Jews. It's the conspiracy against the Jews. It's not the fact that he's an idiot. No, it's the fault of the Jews. It's always people who talk about that. So I thought I would have said no, but since then I've learned that like the Jews have been expelled out of like 109 or 110 countries. That's a lot. So there could be something to it, but even if there's something to it, you can't blame everybody who has Jewish religion for what probably the top of the power pyramid in Jewish society is doing. So I'm not sure. Could be some truth in that, but you shouldn't blame just everybody with a Jewish religion just for, every society, every race has its problems. Don't blame everybody for the problems that usually the rich and the powerful create. Because it's never us versus them. It's always like rich versus poor. That's like the real thing. When is the merch dropping? Asks Peter. Peter, come by, help me fix the merch. I would love to make some t-shirts. Not that I have any inclinations of like really getting rich or really doing something big, but I would like to have some t-shirts. And every time I start designing, I just get lost. There are too many options and I just can't get it all connected, which has also something to do with the fact that I still work, have 3 small kids, and just do a lot of stuff. I don't have a lot of time for that, but I can't seem to make it work. I got a question. Are we post or pre-Ragnarok? That's a good question, because I've been getting that question a lot over the years. Are we post or pre-Ragnarok? Ragnarok, if you don't know, is the Nordic apocalypse. Now, where all the gods die, and of course, some remain, and life is born again. Now, I think that Ragnarok is a metaphor. We all have our little Ragnaroks. Did I just lose my lighter? I probably did. If you understand or start to understand, at least to a degree, the story of Ragnarok, you understand what they are trying to tell you. Norse mythology is often the depiction of cycles. So those are small cycles, but also the larger cycles. For instance, during Ragnarok, there's a giant wolf, Fenrir, who swallows the sun and swallows the moon and eventually kills Odin himself. That's what happens at the end of a cycle. That's what happens when you experience a certain death in your life. There's this emotion that comes, this grief, this anger, and it swallows up the sun and it swallows up the moon. So all you can see is your own darkness. And then at the end, it kills Odin. It kills the symbol for your own divine self. It kills the metaphor for your wisdom. Because that's what happens at the end of a cycle when everything turns dark. Now, maybe you've gone through a phase where you've lost your marriage, lost your job, lost everything, lost your sense of self. That's your own personal Ragnarok. But know that after Ragnarok, everything will start again. So I don't think like, oh, we're pre-Ragnarok. Well, we seem to be on Earth going towards a sort of climax, a sort of kind of like something's building up. But I don't think that's Ragnarok, because then you need first Filmboel winter, and that's like 3 years of no sunlight and civil war. And I choose to see it as a metaphor. I hope not that we are going to have actual Filmboel winter here. That would be disastrous. Now my cigar's gone and my lighter's also gone. Oh, it's working again. What else have we got? Somebody asked me if I actually believe in gnomes, in the little kabouters. Yeah, it's not something that I just, I'm very open about during my daily life, but I am. I think they're one of this region's land spirits. They really are. And I've been really spending some more time with them. And I really feel that they're kind of like helpers. If you're busy and if you're dedicated and if you're hardworking and if there are some things you just simply can't do or can't find the time to do, and if you're just searching for solutions like a kind of mad scientist, they can come to aid you. They're kind of like ladders between layers of consciousness. They help you transform, they help you create. But in doing so, you also become part of their ecosystem. Because I've been working in my garage trying to get some technical stuff working, and I feel that they help me, but in helping me, what they get from that, besides just an offering of like stroopwafels and honey and stuff, is this transformational quality that they have is also transferred to you. So their sphere of influence is enlarged. Like I also became more transformational with my kids in how I talk to them, and I become this little switch for them, like the gnomes are the switch for me. Like I think that's the deal with the gnomes. I'm still working it out, and I'm probably going to do a whole gnome video when I figure this some more out. But I have some books, and they say you can summon them with sigils and this and that. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying the connection is in yourself. If you're in a certain place, they can help you transform certain things and help you find certain answers. Um, Somebody asked me what's my opinion on tobacco. Um, that's good because I'm smoking. I love tobacco. Um, I smoke the cigars because I think tobacco is like a holy plant. The Native Americans still use it to this day. They believe it's a way to communicate with spirit. It's a way to carry intention to the Great Spirit. Most of us smoke cigarettes, and those cigarettes, well, it's about 50% tobacco, 50% they still don't know what. A lot of addictive stuff. So if you want to smoke, I recommend you smoke tobacco. And when I smoke a cigar, usually I just sit in the forest or in the back of my garden and I just empty my mind. And also because I just smoke one, maybe it's somewhere 2 a week, I get a bit high in my head. Just I let it elevate me and I make it a little quiet time, little me time. So tobacco itself, it's sacred, but the cigarettes, I don't recommend the cigarettes. If you smoke, I recommend natural American Spirit or just a premium cigar, because the premium cigars ingredients are just tobacco and they have this little thing of glue that they glue, but that's it. It's just tobacco, tobacco, and tobacco. So love tobacco, not a fan of cigarettes. Okay, last question. Any controversial opinions? Strap yourselves in. Here we go. Now, I feel like actually all the people who bought an electric car, I think 95% of those people are actually not happy with their electric car. How can you say this, Rainy? It's crazy talk. Well, I was in the market to buy a brand new car about 2.5 years ago. I was very fortunate to have the money for a brand new car, so I started to do the research. I also started to do the research for electric cars. So I started to do the research of how much subsidies are on these electric cars. I found out quite a lot. If you have like the Tesla model, I believe it's Model S, the cheapest Tesla, it's supposed to cost in Holland about 50,000 euros. It's $50,000 in America, so that translates to 50,000 euros in Europe, even though the dollar and the euro aren't exactly the same at the moment. But that's how it works. Now in Holland, we have a special car tax. Now we also have a special sales tax, but first you have the special car tax, or first you have the sales tax, and then you get the car tax, the BPM, on top of the sales tax. So you're actually paying tax on the tax. And how the BPM is calculated is very complex. Nobody actually knows. Some bureaucrat thinks of a number and they stick it on there. But if you add the special tax, which they don't add in Holland, you don't have to pay special tax because they want to incentivize electric car ownership. So if you add that to the 50, then you get around 70. It's supposed to cost 70,000 euros in Holland. Well, you don't pay the special tax, so it's 50. But they want to incentivize it some more, so they had some more subsidies, more subsidies, and more subsidies. So you can actually buy a Tesla Model S for 35,000 euros in Holland at the moment, while it actually should be costing 70,000 euros. Now, fun fact, this is not true for Tesla, but it is true for other car manufacturers who do electric cars, who don't sell quite the number of cars that Tesla does. Let's say Fiat, they have a little small electric car. They sell that at a loss just because they want a foot in the door of the electric car market. So I think, and I hope I'm not pissing people off, because I'm not doing this to piss people off. I'm just saying how I feel and how I see it. Like, I had some colleagues and they were really happy with their electric car. Good for them. I didn't like say anything to make them feel bad. But if you remove all the subsidies from that electric car, it will almost cost double. Yeah. And by the way, they're getting all that money from the subsidies in part from a special tax on gasoline cars. Like even like the small cars like Volkswagen Polo, it used to cost 15, now it's like 22,000 euros. So if you just bought an electric car and you're happy with it, it's good. But ask yourself the question, would you still be happy if that car would have cost you twice the amount that you paid? Because that's more likely closer to the original cost. So that's why I think nobody's actually happy with an electric car if they knew what they really ought to be paying for it. When you take subsidies, it's basically saying I'm letting the government bribe me to do something I wouldn't normally do otherwise. So that's a controversial opinion. Now, I don't think I'll get cancelled because my channel is just too small for that. Maybe later, when I get big, they can go back in my back catalog and they can cancel me because I said such horrible things. Okay. Thank you for sticking out to the end of the video. I appreciate it. If you have any more questions, let them know. And I'll be back in a week or 2 weeks with a regular video. Okay? Ga met de goden. Go with the gods. Later.